Hi, this is Mayur Badolia, and you are listening to Love Your Business podcast. This podcast isn't about magical tactics on running the business that makes you bored and tired. Instead, it's about how to love your business so that you can enjoy doing it and enjoy more time for yourself. How can you look at one thing from two different angles? Two friends are arguing about whether it is okay to smoke and pray at the same time. So they decide to settle the argument by asking a priest. So one friend asked, "Is it allowed to smoke while praying?" And he was told no, of course not. You should be focused while praying and do nothing else. Now here's the twist. The other friend asked, "Is it allowed to pray while smoking?" And is told, yes. You could pray anytime, anywhere. So just small changes in framing lead to a huge difference. This art of framing can get people to change the way they think and respond to you. It's happening because our mind looks at something and thinks according to the situation, not just things alone. So if you know how to do framing, you can position yourself and your brand whole differently. It has the power to get people to pay attention to you. Framing is used intelligently by many successful companies to sell their products. They have a common product or service, but they can win against all competitors. It's because they know how to get people to look at their product whole differently and get them to say, "Wow." So in this podcast, we'll find out how you too can look different even if you are the same as many others in your market. You're going to learn how you can beat the big corporations by presenting yourself from a whole unique angle. So in this bit longer podcast episode, we're going to discuss three things. 1. How to get customers to pay attention to the interesting things about your product. Number 2, how to position the interesting part of your product. Number 3, how to look better against your absolutely similar competitor without changing your product. And by the end of the podcast, you're going to know how you can position your brand so that more people say yes to you. So let's discuss, shall we? David Attenborough is one of the best people to teach about wildlife, nature, and earth. And I was watching some of his series on Netflix recently, such as Our Planet, A Life on Our Planet, and Life in Color with David Attenborough. He can turn a seemingly boring and very common thing into a very interesting thing. When you watch his videos, he shows you the entire garden and a lot of flowers. Then he picks up just one flower and ignores everything away. He gets your attention completely on just one thing by ignoring everything around it. He would say, "Look at this sunflower." And you cannot get distracted. Because he knows that if he presents everything as important, nothing is important. If you two are trying to get people to pay attention to everything, they will not be interested. That's how professional photographers teach amateur photographers too. A professional photographer teaches techniques to draw attention to something interesting in a way the viewer's eyes are attracted to it. They start with teaching how to crop. If you want to focus on the iconic, you need to get rid of clutter. You need to eliminate what's not important. You don't need to show everything. Focus is everything, and people will focus on what you want them to focus on. Professional photographers teach to focus on something really emotional and interesting. Select to focus on something interesting, and your photos will be interesting too. If you learn this, your photos will be far better than most photographers out there. So in the same way, you don't need to get your customers' attention on everything that you present. Just find one feature and make it interesting. Make it really interesting. If everything is interesting in what you offer, then nothing is interesting. So get people to pay attention to just one thing. That one thing can be just one solution, benefit, feature, or promise. Ignore the rest. Then you should do what the professional photographers do next, which is called positioning. Where in your photo should the main feature or object be positioned? Let's dive in, shall we? People find something interesting when it's off the mark. There was a famous English painter called John Thomas Smith. So in 1797, he came up with a rule to create better scenic paintings. He named it the Rule of Thirds. So we don't look at the picture in just one piece. We create an imaginary grid of 9 panels in one picture. Just like a tic-tac-toe board. 2 lines horizontal, 2 lines vertical, intersect at 4 points, making 9 equal-sized rectangular areas. John Thomas Smith asks you to do something interesting. Instead of center, you paint the most prominent object at one of the 4 intersections, slightly off center. Why? Because that makes it easier for your eyes to unsettle through the painting. Placing the iconic object right in the center does not allow you to know how your eyes should move. Unequal partitions and placement lead to better attention on the whole painting. You can place it anywhere, slightly away from the center. Every photographer and painter has their own style of placing objects. Understanding how our mind processes things is what is important to understand positioning and placement. So you need to follow 2 rules for good framing of your product. Number 1 is crop. Focus on iconic object and get rid of clutter. Not everything is important. Number 2, position. Put the iconic object where people's attention would flow with ease. You need to place your product slightly off the center where people can comfortably look differently. So let's find out how different brands are positioning themselves. Let's dive in. Do you want to sleep better or meditate better? Or do you want to do both things better? Surprisingly, a mobile app will suggest you do this. There are two mobile apps called Headspace and another one is Calm. And they provide almost similar solution. Both applications are meditation apps that you can install on your phones. So how do they communicate their solutions? The tagline of the Headspace app is less stress, more resilient, and happier. The tagline of the Calm app is sleep better, stress less, and live better. So both are offering the same. But guess which is doing a lot better than the other one? Headspace started 2 years before Calm. But Calm app is more popular app and is growing faster. And recently valued at about $2 billion. So they grew faster than Headspace because of their positioning. They both have the same market and they provide the solution. Almost the same. Yet, they both are seen differently by their customers because both apps are positioning themselves differently. So, how both are sending a different message even though they both do the same work? The Calm app decided to focus on solving sleep with meditation. And Headspace merely focuses on whole meditation market and doesn't focus on anything specific. An investor, Sarah Tavel, says sleep is a problem for everyone, whereas meditation is merely a desire for some. People pay for the problem they want to solve more than the things they just desire. Better sleep is just a more painful problem. It is a way more pathetic problem for those who cannot sleep. They know how it feels due to insufficient sleep. Not everyone is interested in meditation. If you compare both better sleep and meditation, better sleep is more of a need for people, whereas being better at meditation is only a want. In one of my books, Offer Craft, we show people how to find pressing and important problems. And most customers cannot tell their problems. It's not because they don't want to tell. It's because they don't know how to say it. The system in the book Offer Craft will show you the exact process to find the most important problem they are facing and how to come up with the product or service that solves the same problem. The Calm app grew faster than its competitors because founder found out the exact problem people faced and ignored the rest. And the book Offer Craft will show you how to find that one important problem rather than so many problems. So this book is available on Amazon and you can go to Amazon and buy the book. Why? Because when you get your customers to focus on the more important and pressing problem, you will win. You can also position yourself with the benefit without talking about the problem. So let's find out how. You can build a website with e-commerce for free. Shopify and WordPress are two giant software platforms people use to create and host their websites. Millions of websites run on both of these platforms. And from the solution point of view, both offer similar benefits. Both provide almost equal features. You can blog using both Shopify as well as WordPress. You can sell your products through both of them. They both give the flexibility to build the website the way you want. Now, WordPress started a few years before Shopify. And most developers will even say that WordPress is richer in terms of features and more adaptable. But from a revenue point of view, Shopify is way ahead of WordPress. WordPress started as a blogging platform, then added other features like e-commerce. Whereas Shopify started as an e-commerce platform and then added features like blogging. While today, both have the same features, their positioning is still offering the same as when they started. Both have the same features, but they offer differently, and that makes the whole difference. WordPress's tagline is create a free website or blog. And Shopify's tagline is start a business, grow your business. For WordPress, building a website or a blog is positioned more importantly. And e-commerce is the secondary feature and is the opposite for Shopify. Shopify built the online store as their main feature, and blogging is positioned as just a very minor feature. And your features and benefits can make a big impact on people's minds if you do it tactfully. And as psychologist Solomon Asch shows, the first word sticks. Now, psychologist Solomon Asch, so A-S-C-H, Asch, asked two groups of people to judge a person. And let's find out what he did. And listen carefully and judge yourself. The first group is asked. John is envious, stubborn, critical, impulsive, industrious, and intelligent. So in general, how emotional do you think John is? The second group is asked. John is intelligent, industrious, impulsive, critical, stubborn, and envious. In general, how emotional do you think John is? The results? The first group judged John as a much more emotional person. If you have heard the description closely, you know that the same 6 words are used to describe John. Just their ordering is different. But a brand is formed with its first impression. People will connect your company's positioning to the first main benefit you offer to them, and not all the features that you have built. So make sure you lead with your main, most in-demand feature, and not the first feature you started out with. So that takes us almost to the end of the podcast. So let's find out what actions you can take after this podcast. Just small changes in framing lead to huge differences. This art of framing can get people to change the way people think and respond to you. You need to focus on just one important aspect and crop all the other things. Place your best object where people pay attention very easily. You need to place your product slightly off the center where people can comfortably look differently. Also, people pay for the problem they want to solve more than the things they just desire. People will connect your company's positioning to the first main benefit you offer to them, and not all the features that you build. So make sure you lead with your main, most in-demand feature, and not the first feature you started out with. Don't hide the most important benefit or solution amongst all the other clutter. If you show everything is important, your customers will find nothing as important. Then it's your job to get the attention where you want them to. So, that takes us to the end of the podcast. So let's find out what's happening in my world. When you go for dating or going to dinner with your loved ones, you do things that make your loved ones happy. And you should. You want to know what goes on in your loved one's mind. In the same way, you need to know what's going on in your customer's mind. You want your customers to like you and buy from you. What if you know what they don't want? They will not say exactly what they don't want, but we need to know because we want to build a great relationship. It is possible to know why your customers buy and why they decide to buy from someone else, but not you. If you're scratching your head when the customers don't listen to you, you should enroll or book an online workshop where I will teach you how to create your marketing offer so your customers will be ready to listen to you and buy from you. You're going to know what's going on in your customer's mind when they buy from you. And once you know, you will not make mistakes that turn your customers away. After going through what I will teach, you will not need to push people to buy. Instead, you will know how to attract the right customers. And I will personally guide you step by step so that you are not left behind. It is an online course. So if you want to know more, reach out to me. Contact me if you have any other queries and challenges. I'm happy to help you. Email me on contact@northstarangel.com or send me a message on +1 639 998 1238. So that takes us to the end. It's Mayur Bardolia. Thank you for listening. Bye for now. Still listening? You're listening to the Love Your Business podcast. If you like what you heard in this podcast, you should share this with your friend. Ask your friend to subscribe to the Love Your Business podcast. Share the link northstarangel.com/subscribe. They will probably love the Love Your Business podcast and they will thank you later. Please leave a review of Love Your Business. Send your question, or if you want to talk to me, just send me an email at contact@northstarangel.com. I will answer. Yes, I read and reply to every single email. It is Mayur Bardolia. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.